Thomas Keith, Scottish Governor of Medina. A historical fact reveals that a Scotsman was once the governor of the holy city of Medina. To this day, he is the only British and European to have been governor of Medina. Let's watch this video on the Islam in History channel.
Do you know that there was a Scottish man, Thomas Keith, who was governor of Medina? Yes, he's a British. He was born in the city of Edinburgh, in 1793. How is it that a young man who comes from a poor family in a faraway land, and not a Muslim land, can become governor of one of the most important cities in the Muslim world? The story begins when Thomas Keith, who was 11 years old, was accepted into the British Royal Army, on August 4, 1804. A decision that would drastically change his life, from a child of a poor family to an officer and governor in the holy city of Islam. He was enlisted as a member of the British 78th Highlanders Infantry Regiment on August 4, 1804. He also sent to Sicily in 1806 to fight against French forces there, joining the 2nd Battalion of his regiment. A year later, in 1807, Thomas was sent to Egypt as part of a British military expedition to Alexandria, during the Anglo-Ottoman War in Egypt. However, the expedition that intended to take Egypt from the hands of the Ottomans failed miserably. At the Battle of Al-Hamad, the British suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the forces of General Muhammad Ali, the Ottoman governor of Egypt. Many British soldiers killed, and more than 120 soldiers were captured and taken prisoner of war, including the young Thomas Keith. Thomas and the drummer in his regiment, William Thompson, were then sent to Cairo, the capital of Egypt. The two teenagers were later taken in by Ahmed Aga, one of Muhammad Ali's best generals. Both of them then became soldiers in the special unit of Mehmed Aga. And apparently, the two Scottish teenagers decided to convert to Islam and change their names. Thomas Keith became Ibrahim, and William Thompson became Osman. After several years as Mehmed Aga's subordinate, Thomas Keith got into an argument with another of Ahmed Aga's adopted child, who were from Sicily. They then engage in a duel, and the Sicilian is killed. Thomas Keith, or Ibrahim, who was afraid of Ahmed Aga's anger, then asked for protection to Amina Hanim, the wife of the governor Muhammad Ali Pasha. Amina then handed over Thomas to his son, Ahmad Tusin Pasha. The Scotsman quickly won Tusin's admiration for his military ability and mastery of the Arabic language. Tusin also appointed Ibrahim to be the commander of one of his troops, and gave him the title, Ibrahim Aga. In September 1811, 18-year-old Thomas Keith, or Ibrahim, joined the Tusin Pasha military expedition to the Hijaz. Tusin himself was 17 years old at the time. Muhammad Ali sent his son to lead a large Egyptian army to Hijaz, on the orders of the Ottoman Sultan, in order to crush the forces of the Diriyah Emirate of Al-Saud from Nejd, who occupied and controlled Mecca and Medina since 1803. Saad bin Abdulaziz bin Muhammad bin Saad, who took over Mecca and Medina, had challenged the Ottoman authorities who had ruled the two holy cities since 1517. The Egypt-Ottoman troops initially had difficulty penetrating Al-Saud's defenses, which were larger in number and more familiar with the battlefield. However, after 5 months, the Ottomans finally succeeded in capturing Medina in January 1812, after launching a surprise attack. Al-Saud's rebels withdrew from Medina, but continued to launch sporadic attacks several times. When the Ottoman troops managed to enter the holy city of Medina, Thomas, or Ibrahim, was very amazed to see the Prophet's mosque. And, a few years later, in 1815, Ibrahim made history. When Ahmad Tusin will return to Egypt, he appointed Thomas Keith, or Ibrahim, as governor of Medina. He became the first British to become governor of the holy city of Medina. However, less than a year as governor, the 23-year-old young governor was killed while bravely defending Tusin Pasha, when ambushed by Al-Saud rebels. Although only briefly served as governor, less than a year, Thomas Ibrahim Keith has made a great history that until now and has not been repeated. He is being the first British, even the first European, to become governor in the holy city of Medina, which is 8,000 kilometers from his homeland, Edinburgh, Scotland.